I recognize that I am sounding like a broken record. And kids, ask your parents what that expression means, because I've been saying the same thing since the Epstein business happened. I'll go through it again, bit by bit, piece by piece, so that you will have an understanding as to what happened, what didn't happen, and why the heritage media and the mainstream media and the corporate media aren't telling you the truth. Okay? Now, let's get to that last one first. If you work for a company that is basically hanging on, that is this close from being delisted or just doesn't matter anymore, struggling for, existential struggling, you're going to be told, whatever you do, do not point the finger at anybody who might be involved in the Epstein matter. The people who we will talk about, by the way, who really have to worry about it are the biggest, most powerful, most influential, and probably the owners of half of the heritage, classic, prototypical, archaic, ossified media, plus politicians and the like. You have people, media companies, who are dying to just remain relevant on the air. They are not going to dig deep into this. So that's number one. Number two, they murdered Epstein. Now let me say this again, and this is something that I think needs to be just clarified. They murdered him. Now, how can that be? Why do they keep saying he committed suicide? Well, one of the reasons is it's the government. Number two, wouldn't it be against their best interest to report that a federal prisoner was murdered? Not just any federal prisoner, but the federal prisoner. A man who could blow up the entire world of, just imagine, because let me jump to this next case. Epstein was, he called it a honeypot. It was an extortion business. He was picked, selected, recruited, which we can go down the list. Go to a lot of these big tech folks. Some people can argue that, look, Barack Obama, picked out of nowhere. Just picked. You're going to be it. Zuckerberg, you're going to be the head of Facebook. Dorsey and these others, you're going to be Twitter, and you're going to be this, and you're going to be that. And Google's going to be this, and you're basically going to work as a sort of a adjunct, an ancillary co-defendant to the federal government or the shadow government, whoever really runs the show, the ruling class or whatever it is. So the point is, why would anybody, why would Bill Barr ever say, for example, that, well, it's obviously he was murdered in federal custody? You think he's going to do that? Do you think in his right mind? No. They're going to take whatever the preliminary information was, whatever the preliminary finding was, and they're going to stick to it. Now, Michael Baden, who has been and is the preeminent forensic pathologist, said, like he had to, that there were indicia. There was evidence of strangulation via homicide. Remember the four, actually five, but the four forms, manners of death. Think of this mnemonic. This is not mnemonic. What am I saying? The acronym. It's not a mnemonic. But anyway, NASH. Natural, accidental, suicide, or homicide. Technically, there's a fifth of unexplained, but that's kind of like a no kidding option. Okay. So, but they looked at this and they said, well, This is suicide. Well, maybe there was something around his neck. He was there by himself. You had these two Keystone cops, these loser. This was the type of guards, scouring the internet, sleeping. Interesting that they, by the way, and missing all these missing recordings. And where's the video? And what about his roommate? I'm not going to go too deep into this. Do you think anybody at any of the news shows, whether it's Fox or Newsmax or the other one, whatever the other one is, do you think anybody's going to go? First of all, they don't have any time. But do you think anybody would call in Dr. Biden? I think somebody once did. He said they noticed petechial hemorrhaging, fractured hyoid bone, fractured thyroid cartilage, all indications of homicide, or as Biden would say, interesting, Biden, homicide. All right, that's the one. Now, I'm going to also throw this one out because for reasons that I don't understand, I'm going to say this again for the millionth time, and I know I'm wasting my time. For some reason, I don't know where this came from, certain things in our lexicon become kind of favorite. They become preferred. You notice how everybody was saying like? They still do. Like I was so I was like, I like the show The Rising and Breaking Points, but maybe because of their youth, they love this word like. Like, excuse me, you started a sentence with like. You're comparing, anyway. But just like we get into these kind of like verbal tics, like awesome, hilarious stuff. For some reason, pedophile is the word that everybody loves. Pedophile. Or pedophile if you're British. They love that word. And to them, that means that's, I guess, synonymous with child trafficker, rapist, pederast. I don't know. I don't know. Pedophilia is an attraction. An attraction. Enophilia, is I like wine. A drunk in the gutter is a drunk in the gutter. They're kind of related, but not really. We're not talking about attractions for people. We're talking about, in many respects, the wholesale trafficking of human beings. And in some particular cases, they might be children or young people in order to satisfy a group of people who are not attracted to children, but who want to rape children. And their attraction has nothing to do with how they traverse into the realm of actual sexual battery. A rapist is never called a heterosexual or someone who is how do I say this? I guess it'd be heterosexual. We don't look at their mental wherewithal to explain what they're doing. The reason why they're raping is the exertion of power and terror and the like. It's not because of their predilections. Do you think a slave master was a racist? No, he might have been, but it was for different reasons. Yes, these people are gathered. Yes, children are sold. Yes, children are kidnapped. Yes, in order to satisfy sick and demented people and to call them an attraction. And by the way, the notion of pedophilia is a chronophilia. It's a sexual preference and attraction based on age. There's a hebephilia. There's also gerontophilia, people who are attracted to elderly people. It's just a name. It's a form of paraphilia. It's like frottage or undinism or whatever you want to. People are so demented when it comes to this. They still refer to, remember Pissgate, and they refer to President Trump as golden showers. They missed urolagnia and undinism as the real cause of this. Now, I don't want to get into the specifics, but when it comes to even the names of sexual predilections and proclivities and propensities, we get those wrong. How many women refer to the vulva as the vagina? Nobody knows words. We use the wrong words. Stop referring to child predation, sexual trafficking as pedophilia. It's not that. It is worse. It is the human subjugation of the innocent. I've got to say that because you're getting the wrong term. If you want to put Epstein or whoever in terms of, I don't know, in the same views of like Nabokov or Lolita, whatever, good luck. And by the way, when it comes to our friend Mr. Epstein, he was the lowest of the rungs in terms of the biggest sexual traffickers, human traffickers in this country is the federal government, specifically through open board and unaccompanied minors. All right, let's move on. Next, the ultimate issue, and I know I took 11 minutes to get to this. The number one issue is where are the recordings? Where are the tapes? Where are the pieces of evidence of the men, typically, who have been involved for decades with women and young girls that pose and present a veritable limitless treasure trove of the most unbelievably critical data that can be used. As one particular congressperson said, it might explain leverage in terms of blackmail or whatever to either negotiate legislation or what have you. That's the most important. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? That's what this is about, not the flight logs. Nobody is suggesting, and I love the way these people on radio and the TV go, well, nobody suggested Bill Clinton. No, this is a limited hangout. They are dangling this in front of you in order to have you run for this red herring, run towards this little laser light like you're a little kitty, because you're confusing. You hear Bill Clinton and pedophile, and you just jump onto it, or they think you're going to do that because you don't know any better. Now, everybody knew who exactly he was. Everybody knew who Epstein was. All of the security personnel, from the beginning, these people had at their disposal the best from MI5, MI6, CIA, FBI, all of these. Do you think that Prince Andrew, by the way, Randy Andy, was ever pulled over by someone that says, do you know who this guy is? We know who. What are you doing? He's going to use this against you. So understand what this is. Why they did this, we'll never know. Why anybody wants to go on this, we'll never know. Why would Bill Gates or Bill this? I don't know. Now, but the thing is, to be fair, here in New York, his mansion, his island, his planes, politicians are always trying to get to score free flights. Look at Biden. He goes to this Martha's Vineyard, this. And so that's kind of the way they shill. That's their deal. Also, in New York, virtually everybody who was on TV, local or national, wanted to be among the in crowd. And people suspected. Look, they knew all about Jeffrey Epstein, but it wasn't official. But while all of the people who were involved in this kind of a thing with Epstein, what they did not know was the level of it and how it was going to blow up ultimately. This was a limited hangout. Excuse me. This is the way you're being dangled and shown that as though, well, that's all there is. No. The issue that you will never hear anybody talk about on any TV show is where are the recordings? Where is the evidence? Never. And the reason why is because people who are very, 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 very high up the media food chain are telling the underlings and the news directors and the program directors of institutions that are in threat and in fear of just closing down completely, stay away from this. Mention a little bit about Clinton, remind everybody he has nothing to do with it, and move on. Why did they put Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? Why? What purpose did that? She has everything you want to know. Now, the answer could be, well, the reason why she does is because she has a lot of family members who were still alive, and she doesn't want them to be Epstein. That could be it. And one more thing. You know how everybody says, oh, we love true crime. We love podcasts about true crime and DNA and, going back and doing genetic genealogy to find out because of mitochondrial, whatever it is. Nobody has shown the slightest interest as to the obvious forensic evidence indicating homicide in the case of Epstein. Nobody. Isn't that something? We live for this. You know, the Gilgo killer, he ate a piece of pizza, and they took the crust, and they analyzed the crust, and they found his DNA and linked them to all this stuff. Fascinating. How about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein had indications of strangulation? Not interested. How about the hyoid bone? Not interested. By the way, the hyoid is the only bone that's not really attached to anything. It's right under the mandible. Nope. You don't get this in a little hanging. Nope. Petechial head. Nope. Thyroid. Nope. Thyroid cartilage. Nope. Not interested. You're being sold a line of garbage, of crap. Crapola, as Archie Bunker would say. So that's it. The question is, the gravamen is, where is the evidence? Who has the recordings recorded from dozens and dozens and maybe decades of uninterrupted extortion? That's the issue. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment as you see fit.